Never, it wasn't good. Drake's amazing, and Drake is all powerful, and he's so talented.
Pusha went too far. You think Pusha went too far?
You know, like I Pusha didn't tell me because he knows I would have, stood in front of him as much as I could. But he's a different kind of person. He's a Taurus.
Drake just can't seem to avoid controversy. Day after day, his actions and declining reputation as a rapper are being scrutinized across social media and the hip-hop community. Recently, Pharrell Williams delivered a subtle but devastating blow to Drake, exposing his insecurities and forcing the world to reevaluate how the rapper navigates his feuds. This story isn't just about a personal rivalry, but a tangled web of artistic ego, reputation, and the consequences of underestimating the quiet power of Pharrell Williams. Drake's obsession with Pharrell stems from a deeper place than just his well-documented beef with Pusha T. The feud reignited when Pharrell, a close collaborator and friend of Pusha T, auctioned off his iconic chains for charity. These weren't just any chains. They were part of Pharrell's storied career and symbolized his influence in both music and fashion. The auction was for Pharrell's nonprofit, aimed at empowering young entrepreneurs, a cause far removed from hip-hop beef. Drake purchased these chains at the auction, not to support the cause but to use them as props in his campaign to mock Pharrell and Pusha T. Social media erupted when Drake flaunted the chains in his Jumbotron Poppin' music video, a visual flex that seemed to scream, "I've conquered Pharrell and everything he stands for." In the video, Drake repeatedly showcased the chains, flashing them to the camera as a subtle jab at Pharrell's legacy. But the stakes were raised when Drake released the track Meltdown from Travis Scott's Utopia, where he explicitly rapped about melting down Pharrell's chains. The lyrics quickly gained traction, with fans speculating about the deeper intent behind the diss. One viral tweet read, "Drake really melted Pharrell's chains just to make a point about a beef that ended years ago. This is next-level petty." Meanwhile, a Reddit thread in the hip-hop community dissected the symbolism, with one user commenting, "Pharrell auctioned those chains for charity, and Drake turned it into a clout-chasing stunt. This is why people are losing respect for him." The situation escalated further when Kendrick Lamar entered the fray. In his diss track, Euphoria, Kendrick directly called out Drake for targeting Pharrell over his unresolved issues with Pusha T. Kendrick's warning was clear: leave Pharrell out of it. But Drake, being Drake, ignored it and doubled down. On his diss track, Family Matters, which was aimed at Kendrick, Drake implied that Kendrick would have to physically retrieve Pharrell's legacy from his house if he wanted to defend it. This wasn't just a lyrical sparring match. It was a moment that exposed Drake's desperation to remain relevant in a culture that's increasingly tired of his antics. Kendrick's response, though subtle, sent a clear message. Pharrell and Pusha T didn't need to respond because the culture had already moved past Drake's brand of petty drama. In a feature by Complex, a writer noted, "Drake's obsession with dismantling Pharrell's legacy feels less like a calculated move and more like a desperate grasp for relevance. Kendrick calling him out only highlights how far Drake has fallen from grace." Pharrell, known for his calm and collected demeanor, played the long game. While Drake was busy flexing melted chains and recording diss tracks, Pharrell was dominating the cultural landscape. Between designing for Louis Vuitton, creating the Despicable Me 4 soundtrack, and helming collaborations with brands like Lego, Pharrell didn't need to stoop to Drake's level. When Pharrell finally addressed the situation in an interview with GQ, his words were measured but cutting. He brushed off the controversy, saying that selling the chains was a way to free himself from material burdens. As for Drake buying them, Pharrell dismissed it as the act of a fanboy. "At the heart of it, he's a fan of music and history, and I happen to be part of that history. Those artifacts are part of it too. It doesn't bother me." This response was a masterclass in deflection. By labeling Drake as a fan rather than an adversary, Pharrell subtly stripped him of any power in the feud. Social media latched onto this narrative, with fans applauding Pharrell for his maturity. Instagram posts from hip-hop pages featured the GQ quote alongside captions like, "Pharrell just called Drake a fanboy and didn't even break a sweat. This is how you handle petty drama with class." Drake's attempts to taunt Pharrell haven't just backfired. They've contributed to a growing perception that his career is on a downward spiral. Critics and fans alike have pointed out that Drake's recent projects, such as For All the Dogs, lack the depth and originality that once defined his music. Instead of focusing on artistry, Drake seems consumed by petty feuds and clout-chasing stunts. An analysis from Pitchfork highlighted this shift. Drake's obsession with settling old scores is taking a toll on his music. While his peers are pushing creative boundaries, Drake is stuck in the past, rehashing beefs that no one cares about anymore. What makes this feud even more intriguing is the undercurrent of suspense surrounding Pharrell's chains. After Drake claimed to have melted them down, fans questioned whether this was true or just another exaggeration. Speculation grew when a mysterious Instagram post surfaced showing chains that looked suspiciously like Pharrell's in the background of an OVO event. A post by a popular hip-hop detective account read, "Did Drake really melt Pharrell's chains?" This photo suggests otherwise. The plot thickens. This revelation added a layer of mystery to the feud, with some fans suggesting that Drake might have kept the chains as trophies rather than melting them down. Others theorized that Drake's claims were entirely fabricated, further eroding his credibility. While Drake's actions have drawn widespread criticism, Pharrell's response has only solidified his status as a cultural icon. By focusing on his art, philanthropy, and groundbreaking collaborations, Pharrell has shown that success is the best revenge. As 2024 wraps up, Pharrell's accomplishments speak for themselves. From being named GQ's Designer of the Year to releasing a critically acclaimed soundtrack, Pharrell has proven that he doesn't need to engage in petty drama to stay relevant. His legacy, unlike Drake's reputation, remains untarnished. In the end, this feud isn't just about two artists. It's a reflection of how different approaches to conflict can shape public perception. While Drake's antics have made him look increasingly desperate, Pharrell's quiet resilience has earned him respect and admiration. This isn't just a story of rivalry. It's a cautionary tale about ego, insecurity, and the power of staying above the fray. As Pharrell moves forward, leaving Drake's taunts behind, it's clear that he's already won, not through diss tracks or public stunts, but by continuing to excel in his craft. What do you think about Pharrell's classy response to Drake's antics? Do you believe Drake really melted Pharrell's chains, or is it just another exaggerated claim? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more celebrity gossip and deep dives into the biggest stories in hip-hop.